Well, the weather forecast this week looks like absolute trash, and it poured down rain last night. So the first thing I decided to do when I got up this morning is get my grass cut before the next monsoon rolls in. I opened up the shop, got all the lights turned on, made sure the air conditioning's working, and then went out and got my yard work done. By the time I was finished, the weather was starting to look pretty decent. So me and June Pup hopped in the 64 and headed down to Buckeye Lake to see Mark at A1 Auto Parts to pick up some shop supplies and an air filter for Billy's truck. When I rolled into the store down there, I found one of Mark's employees dumpster diving in a dumpster out back, and it looked like he's trying to find something to eat before it rained. What were you doing back there in the dumpster?
Getting a gallon can so I can dump all my mess up paints in.
You gotta do something about your help.
What about it?
The one I pull in, he's back there digging in the dumpster. I thought he was looking for something to eat because you're not paying him enough.
Are you serious?
No, turns out he was looking for a pail to put all the messed up paints he's screwing up in.
Oh, that must be Tyler.
I just figure if Mark was paying him decent, he could afford a better haircut is all. I'm just gonna give you fair warning.
All right.
Uncle Bucko is in rare form today.
Oh boy.
So my brother, who I love dearly, has not always made the best life choices. Jeremy closes on his new house tomorrow, so he won't have to live in this ramshackle shit mess of a rental house much longer. Every time it storms, the old barn out back falls down and makes noise in the middle of the night and makes Jeremy grouchy the next day because he's not getting enough sleep. And the trash cans out in the road ditch didn't help anything either. So when I called Jeremy this morning to tell him I needed his help to pull the transmission out of Billy's S-10 and change the flex plate, he wasn't in the best mood.
Race around, fix this, fix that.
Today's gonna be rough on you if he gets a hold of you. If there's one thing Mark and I can commiserate on, it's staffing problems. Hey, I called this morning and the damn phone was busy for an hour.
Well, I don't know. I think I paid my bill.
And as it turns out, the storms last night had Jeremy upset. Well, they had Mark a little upset too. He's having some problems with water getting in the store.
I come in here this morning and my store's flooded.
Why is your store flooded, Mark?
I don't know. I've got no drainage. I don't know what the problem is.
I can tell you why it's flooded.
Why?
Because water runs downhill.
Oh.
I've worked in the drainage business since I was 17 years old. It's not hard to figure out.
Can't figure it out. I'm confused.
Water runs downhill every time.
Is that all you got to know?
That's all you got to know. If you make water run downhill the opposite direction the way it's coming in, your problem will be fixed.
Really? So I leave Mark with that little tidbit of advice on drainage work, and me and June Pup head back to the shop in the rain, where I find Jeremy's made it there, but he hasn't started to work yet. Why aren't you out there working?
It just got done raining.
It doesn't rain inside the shop.
My tools are in the trailer. How am I gonna get them in the shop in a monsoon?
A monsoon?
Yeah.
So I took a couple minutes to educate my brother on the proper pronunciation of monsoon. And then we got straight to work pulling the transmission down out of the S-10. What in the Sam hell are you doing? You're making a mess on the floor. We've got the proper tool for you to use to drain that.
See what the fluid looks like without contaminating with the other 50 things that you've blown up and dumped in that fucking container.
Given what the transmission fluid looked like and the drain plug when he pulled it out, I guess Jeremy did the right thing, although he still made a mess on my floor. So this project just went from a simple flex plate replacement to a new flex plate and probably having to have the transmission rebuilt. And I think if we want to cure these problems once and for all, this truck really needs to have a mid plate installed, because we are constantly having problems with torque converter bolts backing out as well as bell housing bolts. So while we're waiting on Billy to show up to make a decision on what he wants to do with the truck, I run in town to pick up some Jersey Mikes, and by the time I got back, Junior's here and Jeremy has found more problems. Loose converter bolts and bell housing bolts have caused significant damage to the back of the block, and the frame twist is so bad that the drive shaft has been rubbing the bottom of the transmission tunnel, and the engine mounts are twisted so bad that the oil pan doesn't set level in the chassis anymore.
You got maintenance issues.
So Billy and I run into Jegs and pick up a mid-plate kit and decide to park the truck until we can get all the chassis issues taken care of and the transmission rebuilt. So for the time being, we shove the truck outside and we decide to bring the Nova in so we can look at it and get it ready for the weekend. And while it's quit raining for a few minutes, we decide it's probably a good idea to take the Mustang down to Billy's shop and put it away down there until Tess and Tony come back from California on their next trip. So me and June Pup use this opportunity to go for a little cruise in the Malibu and follow Billy down there so we can bring him back to my place once we get the Mustang put away. Now, I've seen a few comments asking about where Tommy's truck went. Well, here it is. It's down at Billy's shop waiting in line for fab work on the turbo kit. We hope to get started on that in the next couple of weeks, but for right now we need to get back to the shop to work on the Nova. So what's your plan here, Cheese Whiz?
I'm gonna raise the ride height. I raised the ride height in the front, and now it's sitting a little high in the front, and then I'm gonna raise it up in the back to match it, which I think it already needs to come up a little bit in the back anyways to get it to separate a little bit better. If we raise it up, it's gonna put the lower bar angle a little bit more aggressive.
And that's what we're kind of looking for.
Yeah.
Based off the passes you made down at Clay City, it could use a little bit more bite in it.
Yeah, it could use a little bit more bite, especially in the. It's mainly just the first 10 feet. Being a long 4-link, it's not like a short upper bar. It takes it a little bit longer to separate in the Falcon, even with the same aggressive bar angle.
Right.
Dynamically, it moves a little bit differently.
Now this past weekend, Billy ran the Nova at KD Dragway and Run What You Brung, and we lost first round. We were the second pair down in the right-hand lane. And this is GoPro footage of the rear suspension making that pass. Now from the untrained eye, you might just think that maybe we just overpowered the tires and we brought the boost ramp in a little bit too fast. But let's take a closer look in slow motion and break this down. And let me show you exactly what happened. Now initially what we're looking for is how hard the car hit the tire. This is a combination of bar angle and shock adjustments. The initial hit looks really good. It plants the tire very nice. Now so far so good, right? Trans brake release, it hits the tire, it plants the tire into the ground, the tires initially hook. Now, here's where we get into the nitty gritty and what initially started our problem. After the initial hit, as the weight transfers to the rear tires from the front, the shocks compress, and this allows the tires to lose traction. Now what you're seeing is, as the shocks compress after the initial hit, what you are witnessing is the weight of the front of the car lifting up as the front end raises, and that weight transfers to the back of the car and compresses the shocks, compresses the springs. If you can control the compression and keep the spring and the shock from compressing, that weight just automatically gets transferred to the rear tires and helps put more weight and more pressure on the rear tires. However, if you can't control the compression of the shock, that weight transfer to the back is wasted and you're losing pressure on the tire. So the data collection that we have, the shock sensor on the right rear, confirms what I'm seeing in the video. Let's show them that.
The trans brake release is right here. Okay. So this black line is where the trans brake release is.
The straight up and down line.
Yeah. This purple line is the rear shock sensor, and the yellow line is RPM. The green line is your drive shaft speed. So what happened was the car leaves the starting line. It extends, as you can see in the video. It plants the tire.
So going
planting
up
the
is
tire.
extension.
Yep.
And then coming back down is what we see the shock compressing.
Yeah, it immediately compresses.
Almost
after
back
that.
down to exactly where it was at static ride height.
Exactly. So then after the front rises and it starts extending in the front, then it starts extending again in the back. But what I found on the Falcon was I couldn't slow this. I couldn't make it not slow down once the front end rises, but I could prevent it from at least going backwards. I could make it so that this line just continues this way, then goes up. So that's how I got the Falcon to work so good back when we first got it. It was doing this exact same thing. It would extend, compress back almost more than static, and then it would extend again, and it would lose the tire a few feet out.
Which is exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Now, even though things weren't perfect in the first 6 feet, it's when we get to 60 feet that we have a major problem. There's a transition from concrete to blacktop, and you see the shocks compress, and as soon as the shocks rebound, you see white smoke off the tires. Okay, so what we're seeing here in the shock sensor point to the transition. This is the big bump at the transition, right? Right there, that low point. That is the shock.
See the drive shaft after that?
Yeah. So the purple right there, that's the transition, the big bump.
And as soon as you see the big bump, look at the drive
Extends.
shaft RPM down here in the green. It takes off.
Yeah. So bump, immediate wheel speed, starts to extend. Almost caught it, and then it spun again. Just lights the tire, and then I pedal it right here. I'll bring the TPS on the screen. TPS. So I pedaled it right here, just real quick, and that's where it caught. You see, I tried to catch it.
Yep.
See how it lines up? We'll line that up. So I pedaled it right there. After it got wheel speed, caught it, and then it came back in with boost.
You can bet that the next time the Nova comes back to KD, we'll be much better prepared to handle this surface. And it's actually a miracle that the truck has been able to do as well as it has down there without any data whatsoever. But for right now, we need to look forward to this coming weekend and getting the Nova ready while the truck is down for repairs. And I think our initial bar adjustments are going to work just fine for this weekend. So in order to get ready for the weekend, the first thing I wanted to get done Thursday morning was loading up a fresh drum of methanol into the race car trailer. So me and June Pup went out back, got the John Deere fired up, and Jeremy came down to help me load up his drum of alcohol. It's much easier to use the John Deere and the loader to move this drum because I can drive right up the ramp in the trailer and set the drum right up in there where we need it. Once we get it up in the trailer, all we got to do is roll it up to the front and place it along the wall where we keep it. Once we had our full drum of race fuel in the trailer, Jeremy and I took some time to get some things organized and clean up the toolbox. Then, I went to check the oil in the generator and found that this thing has been leaking oil everywhere. That's not good. So I take some brake clean out, clean up the generator, and fire it up to see if I can pinpoint where it's leaking. But in the meantime, I've got some errands I need to run in Pataskala. I fired up the Malibu after Scrappy climbed in, so I kind of tricked her into riding in the car with me today. She doesn't seem to mind riding in the car as long as I don't get on the throttle. Anyway, we run in town and I picked up something to eat before I head back to the house. Hopefully when I get back that generator is still dry as a bone and doesn't show any signs of oil leaks. And luckily that's exactly what I found when I got back. Billy had showed up by this time and he had pulled a Falcon in the shop to go over it real quick before the weekend. He did, however, find some leaks on the transmission. One of the oil cooler line fittings is leaking, so Billy tries to tighten this thing up to see if he can get it to quit. While he's under there, he went ahead and snugged up the converter bolts and cleaned up all the oil. Then he set the car back on the ground, fired it back up, and ran it back up on the lift to check for leaks. The crazy thing is I never saw a drop underneath that car on the track, and we didn't see a drop on the trailer from when we hauled it home either. Regardless, it's leaking now, and it's not going to stop until we replace this fitting tomorrow morning. So I guess that's going to be the first thing on my agenda for tomorrow, is a trip in to see Uncle Terry. While we're finishing up working on the Falcon out in the shop, Miss Vicky's in the house getting dinner ready. She's made beef and noodles tonight, and the dogs know when they smell beef and noodles, they always get a plate of scraps before everybody else gets to eat their dinner. Even Mr. Jack's got his own plate. So by this time, we're just about done for the day out in the shop. Time to start putting everything away and winding down for dinner. Billy went ahead and backed the Nova in the shop underneath the Falcon to get it in and not have to take the Falcon back off the lift, since that's going to be the first thing we have to work on tomorrow morning. Hopefully no other problems spring up on us before it's time to leave to go racing. All right, guys, so we just finished up dinner. Billy's still in there eating. I'm waiting on Vicky to come out here. We're going to give this truck away and one of those really cool wooden signs like I've got hanging on the wall. I got a whole box right here full of names to choose from to pick a winner. So as soon as Vicky gets out here, we'll get started. So here you are.
Here I am.
Here you is. Are you ready? Get situated? What do you want to do?
Just give me a minute.
I've got the box of names right here. You ready to do this?
Oh, let's go get the sign off the wall.
Oh,
Or are we just gonna walk over to it?
whatever. All right, cheese and crackers. Are we ready?
I think. Are you ready?
I think so. Look, all right, so we got this truck, and that's going to be the first name pulled?
Yep.
You're sure?
First name goes the big prize, the truck.
And then the second name pulled gets the sign?
Right off your wall.
Right off. Wait a minute, I thought you got a different one. I'm giving away one that's on my wall?
Yep.
I thought you got one to give away.
Listen, I ordered you another one. It'll be all right. And we're going to have everybody sign the back with
All
a silver
right.
Sharpie.
All right.
So that'll happen before it gets shipped. All right. Stick your paw in there. One name.
I'm shuffling. Shuffling.
Can I do that clock noise on you?
All right, you ready?
Yes. Reveal. The winner of the truck is... I can't read it, but I think it says Michael Scarborough.
What?
I'm authenticating Mike Scarborough, Newark, Ohio.
Well. Freaking Scarborough won my brand new freaking monster truck. Are you crapping kidding me?
Next one.
Oh, I'm never going to hear the end of that. Another one. All right, drum roll, please.
I can't do
Oh my God, Vicky. Brian Blankenship. There's that one. Authentication process has begun.
Brian Blankenship from Oklahoma.
So the sign's going to Oklahoma, and this thing's going to Newark, Ohio. At least I don't have to ship the daggone. Well, shit. That ruined my plan.
What?
Well, I bought this really nice box to ship it in.
Well, why would you go buy a box when we get merch box all the time?
Well, I needed a box the size of a monster truck.
Why is it still taped up?
Well, I haven't opened it yet.
Why would a new box be taped up?
Oh, look, it came with packing stuff too. This box that I bought to ship that truck came with another truck.
Look, it's the August giveaway. You're supposed to be thinning those out, not getting more.
I just bought the box. The truck came free. Would you just look at it?
I'm avoiding looking at it.
This thing's like mint condition. It's almost like brand new. Just like that one was brand new. All right, what's next now? You got shirts laid out. Hey, quit! God, they're little heathens. What do you got going on here now, Squirrely Locks?
Glitter. Lots of glitter.
Did you just change your shirt?
I did. So look.
I missed it.
Oh, I went over there. Old man's garage. You know how the ladies are familiar with, I'm always wearing my SRC shirt.
How did I
right?
miss that?
Would you focus
Quit!
with this ruckus?
Somehow I missed the fact that you got naked. The dogs are down here just like heathens.
Building boost.
Hey, focus here. Focus.
Focus. Make them stop.
They're stopping.
Do we have?
Vicky, I'm filming.
Okay.
God.
So the ladies are familiar with my glitter SRC shirt, right?
Yep.
Well, now we have glitter Old Man's Garage. And here's my dilemma. I can't decide whether I like it in a big logo right in the center or a little logo off to the side.
I like it off to the side.
But see, a lot of girls like it in the middle. A lot of girls like it in the middle. So
You can't help yourself.
we're gonna do pre-orders because I can't decide which one to make. So I'm gonna offer them both on the website, pre-sale. You can get them.
Meaning,
It's gonna take a few weeks.
stop.
Okay.
Do not order this shirt if you need it
for a birthday, an anniversary,
Yeah, like,
a gift of any
It's
kind,
not going to ship the next day.
it's not probably going to ship the next week.
Right.
It's
going
gonna
to
take
weeks.
maybe a month.
No, probably about 2
Let's
weeks.
just say a month. Let's under promise and over deliver. Okay, so ladies, if you're listening,
Yeah.
pre-order,
Pre-sale.
pre-order, order, not pre-sale, pre-order. Okay.
So, yes, we're not Amazon. It's not going to go out the next day. But this will help me know which is everybody's favorite. Either this one or this style. And I'm even thinking about how cute would this design be on the mint green shirt too.
You know what? That design would look really good on a monster truck.
In glitter?
No. Are we done?
I wanted to tell people that whenever we go live and do the giveaways, there's this freaking scammer that shows up in the comments and it's like, click on this link to select your prize. And
Which
I get all
is
these
why
emails. This is why we didn't go live tonight.
because we're sick and tired of dealing, every time we do a live giveaway,
It generates this scammer.
scam bots or whatever I don't know. I have to block them. I block at least one scam artist, possibly 5 every time I put a video up. But when we go live to do a giveaway,
It's worse. Way worse.
it's terrible.
Trust me when I say we will never jump in the comments on YouTube and offer a link to click to win anything. We will
Ever.
never do it that way. So don't believe it. I know it's tempting and it looks real. They even use Bill's logo and it looks like the Old Man's Garage logo, but it's not us. Don't ever click the link. Don't believe it.
Are we
will
done?
only do it personalized like this. That's
Okay.
how we'll do it.
That's how we'll do it from now on.
Yep.
All right.
What else? Oh, I can't give details yet because Billy won't decide where we're going for sure. He's
Right.
watching the weather. He's uncertain, so I can't give any details.
There's like
yet.
3 or 4 different events this weekend.
Yes.
And
he's
everybody wants us to go to theirs.
I know. And one of them would require leaving tomorrow. Another one would require leaving Saturday. So it honestly depends on how much work we can get done to even go. So there's a lot to do.
All right.
Yeah.
We done? We're done.
Are you telling me that I had a sticker, a size sticker on my belly the whole time?
Are you telling me I missed you getting naked again?